I am with Brandon Potter, actor of The Short Game. I am going to admit, 20 years ago, I'm talking to someone after basketball, and I was asking him about golf, and he said, "Well, you might be too late. You're in your early 30s now because you have to start golf at an early age." Wondering for you, Brandon, are you an enthusiast of golf? And is that adage true? Because I'm watching the movie and I'm looking at these great swings and the beautiful courses, and I'm thinking, I should have started maybe 40 years ago. So,
Well, I'm not a golf enthusiast, but I think I'm one of the only people in my friend circle that isn't. And my friend circle are definitely over 30. Let's just leave it at that. And a lot of them are just now picking it up. They're having a ball. So I don't think that's true at all. I think that you can learn golf at any time.
are you too busy, Brandon, to start it up yourself? Is that because your friend circle,
Mhm.
this circle is they're doing things without you. So that must hurt.
Well, I
Or
hadn't
are you
thought of
too
it
busy?
that way, Greg. Jeez. Yeah. Now I'm like, well, you can't, what are you doing? You playing golf without me? Do you guys not like me anymore? I'll get into the golf game like that. I'll guilt trip them into bringing me along.
So regarding golf, the short game is more about life and how you approach life as well.
That's
And
right.
that
Yeah.
theme, and as far as nurturing and actually I could relate to the main character in my youth as well as regarding that quick trigger temper. Were there things that you could relate to as far as just the overall arc of the story?
Of course. This is a story, like you said, it's not just about golf. That it has a lot to do with like family and self. And when a coming of age story, especially about young people like that, I feel like that's when so much of that stuff crystallizes for a person. Like, who am I really going to be? And I think golf is an avenue for this young person to decide that they don't have to, I don't want to give away or spoil anything, I
Yeah.
suppose, but that they don't have to sacrifice the meaningful stuff in order to pursue the things that they love to do. And that there's also something to be gained, not just from like winning, but like the pursuit of excellence. I think that is something that's really important. I know it was for me when I was a kid. I was in Taekwondo, which is like karate. And I wanted to quit, and my parents, they wouldn't let me. And at first, I thought they were being really stern. Oh, they're not letting me quit because they want to punish me. And as I sort of got further and further into it, I realized that it was teaching me a kind of discipline and stick to itiveness that I still use today. It was necessary for me as a person to stay in that athletic endeavor. And it grew me as a person. So I can definitely relate to the young man in this movie.
On growing as a person, your character, your the coach in this film, you have that really, without giving too much away, without giving too much away, you have a really interesting
Yeah.
pep talk with the main character. And is it weird when you're doing that scene because you realize how much time flies? We're talking about age at the beginning of the interview,
Yeah.
and now the tables are turned. And what is it like for you when the tables are turned and seeing you grow as an actor, and then now you're through this character, you're giving advice to someone who desperately needs it?
It's a little strange. It feels like it wasn't that long ago that I couldn't imagine playing this sort of sage guide or teacher. Or I'm not a father figure in this. There's a real dad in this, so it's not that, but it's related to that somehow. And that is sort of strange to sort of be just to be in those parts now. I thought that it would feel stranger. Actors are supposed to be vain and want to be young for forever. But when I started working on this, I thought it feels right as rain. And I think some of it's because in my sort of personal life, I've been teaching a little bit more these days. So it blended into how I'm just sort of growing and maturing as a person, being a whole grown man instead of a young man or even like, I don't know, a teenager for sure. Those days are long, long past. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's kind of a natural evolution. Yeah, you want to share what you've got with the younger generation so that maybe they can avoid the same pitfalls that you couldn't avoid. It
So I've
felt
been
more natural than I thought it would. Yeah.
Yeah, so I've been doing interviews since 91 and I've been using IMDb as a resource since the internet, the World Wide Web actually started existing. We're almost of the same generation, but you have that distinction, at least from my POV. You have the most IMDb credits I've ever seen from people I've researched. What has that been like? You're talking about teaching with all of those credits you've had over the years in the big picture. Do you see what you can offer as a teacher with so many different avenues you've reached as an actor, as an artist over the years? And I mean, what's the key to working with so many and collaborating with so many people? That's an amazing accomplishment.
Well, I think keeping an open mind and saying yes. That's like the first rule of improv when you take like an improv class. It's yes and someone comes to you with something and you say yes, and then you have your own idea. Never no but, you know. And I think that's really important for teaching. I think I've gone through sort of different phases of being like a performer and being a teacher. Sometimes you're interested in one thing, then you sort of grow to be interested in another. So I think accepting change is something that's really important. I used to teach one way and now I teach another. And that's okay. That doesn't mean that one way of teaching failed or is no longer useful, but it's just not how you do it now. So I think accepting change and keeping an open mind are critical perspectives for being a performer and being a teacher.
So, Brandon, I'm Filipino. I haven't been to the Philippines in over a decade, but I was just Googling and looking up stuff on The Chosen, and it said, I think either this week or today in the Philippines, season five premieres on Netflix in the Philippines. And I was just wondering for you and looking at some of your past interviews, you're talking about how The Chosen changed your life. And I'm wondering, just with intangible effects, how it has changed your life personally. And the fact that something that started as a dream and as an app and to grow just in a global form must be something so profound that you are still trying to process every year. Season six is on the horizon. What has that whole thing been like for you?
Well, I don't know that I can sum it up in one sound bite, but it has been a dream. And I think some of it has to do with like the fact that it started kind of small and scrappy here in Texas. And because the cast and the crew and the creators have real heart. It was able to reach an audience. And because it has a message of light and heart, it was able to reach an audience. And that has a lot of parallels with the short game, actually. The short game was shot here in Texas, and it's a scrappy outsider bunch. And the story is filled with light and heart. And that's something that is important to me, is to work in Texas with people who want to share something beautiful. And anytime that can happen, whether it's with a show like The Chosen or a great movie like The Short Game, I'm on board and I'm going to give it my all because I know I'm putting something out into the world that will make it a better place. And that's not a bad way to earn your living, I think.
What was it like actually? I don't know if you've seen the final cut of the short game. Were you able to watch it with an audience? It's an indie film. What has that whole
No,
journey?
I haven't seen it yet. I haven't seen it yet. And I haven't seen it with an audience for sure. But I would love to see it with an audience. I don't know when that can happen. I think there were some screens or something, but I was like traveling or working or something, so I had to miss it. So the first chance I get to see it, I will. And it comes out in theaters on August 29th. You can go buy your tickets at theshortgame.com. So I will definitely be doing that, and I'll definitely be finding a theater so that I can go see it with an audience.
Brandon, final couple question is I don't know what Weatherford is like. What was it like growing up there? And then on your journey to being an actor, what are some of the things that you would have liked to have known at the beginning of your journey, as far as someone giving you that kind of what would have helped you along the journey? Or maybe you didn't need it because you had to learn it on your own.
That's an interesting question. So first, let's tackle Weatherford. Weatherford was a very small town when I was growing up there all those years ago. Now it's pretty clearly a suburb of Fort Worth now, right? It sort of just feels like an extension of Fort Worth. And when I was growing up, it was a whole other city and it was way out in the sticks. We didn't even have a Walmart yet, that kind of thing. But there was a few bits that sort of set me on my path. One of them was that Larry Hagman and Mary Martin were from Weatherford. Because Weatherford was such a small town, I was able to see some of the previous generations that had interactions with these folks. And Larry Hagman and I kind of had a similar I'm going to be an actor story. He was digging by hand a pool for a guy named Jess Hall out there, and it was during the summertime. And he said, I'm sick of manual labor. I'm going to be an actor, right? And when I was about that same age, I was probably 14, I was digging ditches for wells. And I thought, and I was baling hay and not doing the sort of stuff you do over the summer when you're a kid trying to save money for a car. And I was digging these ditches, and I thought to myself, I think I'm going to be an actor. I don't think I want to dig ditches anymore. So me and Larry Hagman have those stories in common. So it was an interesting place to grow up. And it did have a little bit of inspiration for me to do what I do today. And wait, what was your other question? I
And
got lost
yeah,
in Weatherford.
oh yeah, no, just regarding some kind of lessons or insights you could have had maybe at the start of your journey, or is that moot because you had to learn it yourself?
Well, Greg, I think when people talk about a path in acting, what they're looking for a trail ahead of you, right? But a path in a business like this is just what's behind you. Like all of us are blind, machete wielding explorers on the edge of a jungle, right? Like there's no clear way forward. People can say, "Oh, you did this and this," but it's only because you were already there. They can only say that because you already sort of hacked that path through. So I think that's what I would say. And in a way, it's like you said, like it's moved because you have to find it yourself. But I think I would tell that to someone starting in the business now is that there's no way forward. There's no guaranteed next step. There's no right decision or wrong decision. What's important is that you keep moving forward and think that you're making the right decisions that you need to make in that moment. There's no diagram. There's no instruction manual. There's no booklet. Keep doing what you love, and there's a chance that it'll work out.
Brandon, final couple questions. So I'm a podcaster. I interview people, and within the last, I guess, year, I used to edit a lot, and I would spend hours just editing the podcast. And now with AI, with a click of a button, I can just change it and save myself several hours. And I've been using
Yeah,
AI for the timestamps and the grunt work. And you're talking about the digging ditches and whatnot. That's sort of my grunt work. It helps me, but I
yeah.
still feel guilty because I was thinking if I had all this capital, I wouldn't do it because I'd hire a real transcriber or I'd hire editors. So I'm thinking about the trade-off for my own workflow. Wondering for you as an actor in so many different fields, voice acting as well, do you use AI? Are you implementing that, or is it a necessary evil, or is it something that a world that you're not going to touch as far as what you do on a daily basis as a professional?
I suspect that at some point or another, it'll become unavoidable, even for someone like me who just stands in a place and pretends real good. You know what I mean? I think that it's probably something I'm going to have to work with at some point. I haven't really up till now. There have been a few kind of businessy decisions I've had to make with it. Do you mind if we clone your voice using this? Or do you mind if we use AI to fill in this performance? Like that sort of stuff. At which point I'm sort of fine because a lot of the kind of moral qualms with it aren't really applicable in those situations. But I think that as I personally move forward as an artist and as a creative, I'll just have to sort of look at it as a case by case kind of thing. Like we can all like look at examples of it being used in, let's just say, a morally gray way, like coming up with creative content instead of a person. Like I don't think that's any good. But using it to reduce digital noise on an image you're going to project online, I don't know that's necessarily a bad thing. That seems like a good use of AI, using the robots to take care of the ditch digging work of it. That's great. I like the robots to do the ditch digging, not the art making. I want them to
Yeah,
do my dishes, not write my great American novel. You know what I'm saying? Like
exactly.
that seems better use of its time from my perspective.
And final question. Obviously, acting means a lot to you. So I'm assuming growing up and even now, movies mean a lot to you. So wondering just right off the top of your head, for our viewers and listeners, can you recommend one of your all-time favorite movies? What makes it a personal choice for you, and what makes it a unique viewing experience for others, in your opinion?
So I don't exactly have like a favorite movie or a favorite band of all time because I love media too much. I can almost always tell you what I love right now. I can almost always tell you what the last thing that I watched. And the last thing that I watched that I really loved, and I've seen it before, I'm sure everyone has. I saw a movie called Casablanca, and I watched it recently again, and it's just wonderful. It has that sort of like classic old world Hollywood feel. And one thing I like about those old movies, there's other movies like The Third Man, and
Love that movie.
yeah, it's terrific. The Third Man is made. Actually, I'm going to change my answer to The Third Man. Okay, I'm changing my answer to The Third Man. First of all, because the theme song is very good, and I like the photography in the movie. It's very good. What I really like about The Third Man is Orson Welles' appearance in the last like 10 minutes of the movie. Like that's a guy who kind of changed everything in terms of acting and movie making, and it's so crazy, but you can tell in the last 10 minutes that things are going to be different after this guy. His acting is so idiosyncratic and small and personal, but it also doesn't seem unreal given the acting style of the rest of the cast. It's an amazing performance in an amazing movie. Third Man. Yeah.
Yeah, great ending for the third man when she just
Yeah.
walks right down. And also the
Yeah.
main character, Joseph Cotton, you think he's a good guy, but he's really just a schlub, like you and me,
Yeah.
like an everyday guy. The real
Yeah.
person is the yeah. Anyways, of
It
course.
was that like there's a monologue at the beginning, like the
Oh,
speech at the beginning when it's
the
going
Swiss
about
clock.
all of the Vienna. Yeah.
So
It's just great.
great. Brandon, thanks again. And yeah, looking forward to more of your work and congratulations on the short game.
Right on. Thank you so much, Greg. It was great
Thank
talking
you.
with you.
Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this video. For more movie and television reviews and interviews, please subscribe to my Deepest Dream channel. Like, comment, share, subscribe. And as always, thanks so much for your support. Take care.